Hi, I am back from my birthday celebration and I had a wonderful time alone. And it was quite interesting spending my 68th birthday by myself. It was very enlightening. So I hope you went and checked out the first video that I made. And so today I'm going to talk about bipolar and exactly give you some examples of what it is. I Googled it because there's so many different aspects of bipolar. And so what I did was I made a little list of what bipolar is. And so I'm going to read them to you. First of all, today is May 28th, 2020. And this is the second video for Bipolar Bizarre. The reason I call it bizarre is because bipolar has so many bizarre symptoms, and it's a whole festival bazaar of symptoms that people just don't know exactly what's going on. And so it's very confusing. Bipolar, actually, you can be very happy, like you're at a party all the time. And people think that you're a very happy person. But then the other side of that, the other side of the bipolar spectrum is that you're high and then you're very low. So it's a party over here and then you go home and you're ready to like commit suicide. You're very depressed. So nobody ever really knows what's going on with you. And so that's why I really want to talk about it, because there's so many people that are having problems that don't talk about what's going on with them. They are self-medicating, and that's been happening for years and years, centuries, decades, and forever. So I want to talk about how it affects me in my life, but I want to actually give you a professional list from some kind of website I went to that has an accurate list of what bipolar is supposed to be. And like I said, doctors are still trying to figure out what bipolar is because they still don't know. So this is what this is what I read last night. Okay. First of all, my type of comorbidities are, I usually don't write them down because there's so many and I don't like to remember them. But first of all, I'm ADHD, I am dyslexic, I have chronic migraines, depression, and anxiety. That's 5, okay? That's not including all the stuff that goes along with the bipolar. Let me tell you what bipolar is, okay? And I have bipolar 1. Okay, so this is what I Googled, and this is the information that came up. Okay, 4 types of bipolar. 4 different types of bipolar. I only thought there were 3. Now I know it's 4. So, one of the most challenging mental health disorders to manage. One of the most challenging health disorders to manage. You guys feel free to take notes, okay? And I'm not sure whether there's a comment box down underneath my YouTube thing. I didn't like go that far. I just like pushed the button and like recorded it and uploaded. So if there's a place to comment, please comment. So, okay. Disorder to manage. Okay, so number 1, people with bipolar struggle daily with, listen to this, number 1, unpredictable and often confounding features of this complex mental health disorder. 1, did you hear that? Unpredictable, confounding, and complex, struggle daily with this mental disorder. Okay, now, there is still no cause of this disorder despite ongoing research. No known cause. Number 3, Some factors associated with bipolar disorder include a family history of bipolar or other mental illness. They didn't say what other mental illness it could be. So let's just go down the list in your head of other mental illnesses that could be associated with bipolar disorder. I'll do that later, okay? It didn't say. So, some factors associated with bipolar include unique brain structures, highly stressful events, brain chemistry imbalances that affects mood regulation, a history of abuse. They didn't say what kind of abuse. We'll talk about that later too, because there's a list going there as well. Or trauma, okay? There's a list going there as well. As far as I'm concerned, Black people suffer from PTSD as soon as we got on the boat coming over here 400 years ago. People don't like to hear that, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, what else is here? Oh, what I want you to do, this is homework. I want you to Google famous bipolar people and then drop them in the box in the comments section. Just Google famous bipolar people, famous dyslexic people, famous ADHD people. Just do that and just put them all down there, okay? So, one of the things that I want to talk about with the different types of bipolar, there's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and then there's something called cyclomythia, which is all of the bipolar disorders all wrapped up into one, and it says there may be periods of normal mood as well, but those periods last less than 8 weeks. So I'm going to tell you what the symptoms of bipolar, just, bipolar itself, bipolar 1, which is the major bipolar. Okay, so bipolar 1, the major symptoms of manic episodes, mania and depression. Mania is when you're really, really high, happy all the time, and just like skipping around, joyful, happy people all the time. Just happy. That's called mania. You're not allowed to be too happy on this planet, by the way. So, okay. The first one, giving euphoria. Way high, happy, euphoria. That's a sign of bipolar. Too much euphoria. Racing thoughts. Just racing thoughts. And difficulty staying focused. And you're easily distracted. That's been me all the time. Easily distracted. Daydreaming. Easily distracted. Staying focused. Just like, going from thing to thing to thing. Just not being able to sit still. It sounds like ADHD to me. Okay. Excessive energy, hyperactivity. You ever see anybody who just runs around and is constantly cleaning up? They clean up everything. No, don't take my plate away. I'm not finished yet. Oh, okay. Let me get that spot over there. Okay. Everything is in place. Constantly busy, constantly cleaning. Just excessive energy all the time. Can't stop doing anything. That's another sign. Hyperactivity. Just have to keep moving, have to keep doing. Can't sit still, can't do anything. Have to just always doing something. That's a sign. Irritability, agitation. You know somebody that's constantly irritable? Constantly, when you say hello to them, they don't even speak, they grunt. Constant irritability. Hi, how you doing? Hello. Just constantly irritability. You talk to them, you say something to them, and they just yell back at you. And you're like, damn, what's wrong with them? Irritable all the time. Agitation. Agitated. You go up and ask them a question. They're like, what? What do you want? What? And you say, okay, don't talk to that person. You got to walk on eggshells around them because they're constantly agitated, right? I know you know some of these people, okay? You live with them, okay? Very little sleep. You know somebody who gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and they went to bed at, some crazy early hour. They got 2 hours of sleep and all of a sudden they're up again and they're going. Like they just don't sleep and they're just like going all the time. And they're just like in another world all day long, very little sleep. And they just seem like just spacey all the time. But they manage to function some kind of a way. They manage to just go through life, function doing the same thing, regimented on very little sleep. They're like zombies, right? And you just wonder. Sometimes they constantly smoke cigarettes. They're just like smoking cigarettes, very little sleep. But they're still functioning. And they never go to the doctor, never think anything's wrong. They're just like that. Okay. Impulsive behaviors and poor judgment. I don't even know where to start right there. Impulsive behaviors and using poor judgment. That was me my entire life, okay? Impulsive behaviors and poor judgment. When I left home as a teenager, I was freaking lost. I'm talking no judgment, no direction, extremely crazy behaviors because I grew up in a dysfunctional, I can't say crazy, I don't like to use the word crazy, family that had impulsive behaviors and used poor judgment constantly. So I grew up in an environment like that. So when I left, I just, painful. So risky behaviors, such as substance abuse or sexual promiscuity. So, okay, that's going down a rabbit hole. Risky behaviors. Oh gosh, okay, where can we start with risky behaviors? Secret affairs, secret creeping, behind your boyfriend's back, your girlfriend's back, creeping constantly for no reason at all. Just because your mind just tells you, I think I'm going to do this because it's available and I'm going to do it. Stealing, I'm just going to take that. Nobody's going to notice it, but it's constant. Lying, like constantly lying about anything. I'm just gonna lie about that. I'm just gonna risk, lying about my education on my resume. They'll never find out. But you just do all kinds of things, but it's persistent, it's constant, and it's an ongoing thing. It's not just like one time. It's just like all the time. And then you get caught, but then you do it again. It costs you your life at some point. Now, substance abuse. People drink and do drugs to stop all of this stuff that's going on. And whatever your drug of choice is, or alcohol, and the thing that you're addicted to is the one that is stopping all of this. It's the one that calms you down from all of your racing thoughts and all of your euphoria, all of your depression, all of that. It's called self-medicating. So the substance abuse is not your fault. It's because of whatever the chemical imbalance or whatever the cause is that you're using the alcohol and the drugs to stop whatever it is going on within you. So many people just are addicted like that. I was for a long time, substance abuse, because I found that when I did that drug, all of a sudden, everything stopped. I was clear. And I was like, oh my God, this worked, but did not know that I was mentally ill. And it was the thing that was helping me be stable. So, sexual promiscuity. Well, the 70s really wasn't good for people that were bipolar, okay? The make love, not war, not good for that time when I grew up in the 70s. So we'll talk about that later. But sexual promiscuity, when you're bipolar, is a thing where you will just make love to someone because you need somebody to hug you, be with you, or just get some affection from somewhere, because all of your behaviors from your family telling you that you're not okay and not giving you love, you got to get affection wherever you can. So you have to break that down. I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about my personal experience. So you write your comments down of whatever your experience is or whatever I'm saying, and just like write it down, because it is what it is. So this is just in the piece of paper that I'm telling you, and whatever the explanation is, whatever. Then there's psychosis and hallucinations. So, or delusions. And those delusions are usually delusions of grandeur. When somebody has a email or a, what do you call it, when you're doing the email, and it says, the great doctor such and such. And you go to that doctor and they are so freaking lame and they don't know what the heck they're doing, and their email is the great such and such. You got to watch them, okay? Because that's a delusion. They're delusional. They're not great. There's like something going on there. So delusions of grandeur, and they're not functioning. They're not functioning at the delusion, at the level of greatness. You have to look at what they're saying about themselves, and then what they're actually doing, and yourself as well. There's a moth up there. So anyway, so psychosis and hallucinations. Sometimes when you're bipolar, you think you're seeing things. You're actually think that you're seeing something, and it's a chemical thing. It might be flashing lights. It might be flashing colors. It might be waves. It may be shadows. It may be something like that. But hallucinations of all different kinds are also associated with your brain and your brain waves. So that's another thing. So like all of these things are just the manic episodes of bipolar. I didn't even talk about the depressive side. That's just bipolar 1. And that's all this thing. So let me just go over that really quickly. Euphoria, high happiness, racing thoughts, difficulty staying focused, easily distracted, rapid speech. I didn't talk about that. I missed that one. Talking excessively all the time. Talking. That just doesn't stop, right? I talk a lot too as well. Sometimes I just can't help it because I'm bipolar, whatever. I have to stop sometimes. I meditate a lot as well to control that. Anyway, then there is excessive energy, hyperactivity. Then there's aggressive behavior. Did I mention that? Aggressive behavior. Do you know anybody who is aggressive? You say something to them and they're always ready to fight? That's the thing. Always ready to fight. Always ready to jump in your face and fight about everything. I know you know somebody like that. And you go, what the hell's wrong with them? The question is not what's wrong with them. It's what happened to them. I saw that Dr. Gorba Mate. You have to check him out on YouTube. He's wonderful. He's a psychiatrist, psychologist, and he talks about depression and things like that, and trauma. He's a trauma doctor, and he talks about people who have trauma in their lives and what happens to them, and you need to go to a specialist, especially for trauma therapy. Dr. Gorba Mate on YouTube. Check him out. So, irritability or agitation, very little sleep, impulsive behaviors, using poor judgment, risky behaviors such as substance abuse or sexual promiscuity, psychosis, hallucinations, or delusions. That's just the manic side. That's one side of bipolar. Now let me go to the depressive side. Okay, depression. Persistent sadness. You know anybody that's sad all the time? Feelings of despair and hopelessness. Despair and hopelessness. Okay? Hopeless about everything. The world's going to end. Nothing's ever going to get better. This is horrible. What's happening? I just can't live. Okay. Intense fatigue. You know anybody that never gets up off of the sofa? Okay. Never gets out of the bed? Okay. Anxiety. Anxiety looks like all kinds of things. Just can't sit still. Just looking around all the time, staring into space, just like just shaking. Anxiety is just, and then that's when you self-medicate. You got to have a drink, got to have a cigarette, got to do something. The anxiety is the absolute worst. Everybody will tell you that. Stage fright, talking in front of people, not being able to speak up, fear. Anxiety is horrible. Okay, sleep disturbances. Anybody can't sleep? Wake up in the middle of the night 25 times, tossing and turning. Loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. Okay, staring out the window. Loss of interest. Not speaking to your relatives, anybody in the house. Loss of interest of everything. Okay, just look around and see who has lost interest in everything. Okay, your hobbies, things like that. Chronic pain with no medical cause. Going to the doctor all the time. I've got a pain here. I've got a pain there. This hurts, that hurts. I went through that. I've been through that. Glad I had good doctors. Trouble concentrating. Can't concentrate on anything. Get up, do one thing. Get up, start another thing. What was I doing? Oh, I was working on that. Oh, okay. No, didn't finish that. Oh, I've got 25 projects going on. Oh, okay. Trouble concentrating. Taking a test is a nightmare. Taking a test, trouble concentrating, can't concentrate on anything. Irritability, just irritable. That's another depressive. That's also in the mania category as well. And last but not least, that they put at the bottom of the list, suicidal thoughts. Why do they put it at the bottom? Because if you had all of these things from top to bottom, mania and depression, what do you think you might think about if you had to live with that every single day and say that it's the most challenging and complex mental illness to deal with? How about that? If you wanted to deal with all of those things at one time and you wanted to get out of the bed every day and know what your day might be like, you might think about that sometimes. So the 4 types of bipolar are bipolar 1, which is what I just described. The high and the low, the mania and the depression, that's 1. Bipolar 2, oh, by the way, bipolar 1 is the one where you need to be hospitalized. Bipolar 2 is having some of those things, but you don't really have to be hospitalized. Bipolar 3 is called cyclomythia. It involves repeated mood shifts between depressive and hypomanic that persist for more than 2 years. The depressive and mania episodes do not meet the diagnostic criteria for bipolar disorders. There may be periods of normal mood as well, but those periods don't last less than 8 weeks. I want to know how you came to that diagnosis. Okay, this is bipolar 4. Unspecified bipolar. Patients do not fit any of those categories, but still involve episodes of unusual manic mood. Unusual manic is unusual euphoria, unusual happiness. Okay, so if you're too freaking happy all the time, you're unspecified bipolar. How happy do you have to be before you're diagnosed as being too happy? Okay, so to me, that's really funny. Okay, I can't be too happy. In fact, when I was like about 13 years old, I was at the Thanksgiving table and something struck me as really funny. And I started laughing and I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I was at one of those laughing things where you laugh so hard that you pee on yourself. And my family was staring at me and they were looking at me and I was just laughing. And my stepfather was looking at me like he had daggers in his eyes and then fire was coming out of his eyes. And I kept laughing and laughing. And finally he said, "Winter." And I was like, "What?" And I'm just like laughing. I'm laughing. And he said, "Go upstairs." And I was like, "What? Why?" And I'm laughing. And they were all looking at me. I have 5 brothers and sisters. And he said, "Go upstairs." And so I'm still laughing and I went upstairs. And I got upstairs and I'm in the bed and I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I got sit upstairs for laughing. Oh, and I just laid there and I fell asleep and I missed Thanksgiving dinner. Well, later on in life, I was reading something and this lady said, that's a family that doesn't have any joy. And they said, when your family stops you from having joy, you know that you're in a toxic family. And I went, wow, that happened to me when I was a teenager. I got sent upstairs for having too much joy. So, my takeaway from all of this and what I'm saying to you today about bipolar is for you to start to look at anything that resonates with you that I've said today about what bipolar is. For me, living with bipolar, being labeled, I have learned after 68 years so many lessons. I've read so many books, had so many great, wonderful doctors that have helped me, so many wonderful friends that have helped me, true friends that have been understanding, been kind and generous and loving, that I can actually talk about it now without crying. Because I cried for so many years. It was so painful. It was so excruciating. It was so damaging. And I know so many people are suffering, especially right now. And so many spirits have been lost. And so many people are lost. They've lost their spirituality. They've lost control of their thoughts and don't know where to place them or put them. And so, just speaking from my heart, I just want you to know that if you've been diagnosed with bipolar, that you are okay. The medications that they put you on are all trial and error. And if you need medication, you have to be consistent and try the medications that help or don't help. If one doesn't work, just tell your doctor, this is not working, I can't take it, this is horrible. Try another one. This is not working, I can't take it. No, try another one. This is not working. And don't take it too long. You'll know immediately how it makes you feel. If it makes you feel like a zombie, stop taking it. Don't do it. You don't want your feelings to go away. We are emotional, feeling human beings. It took me years to get the right medications. At one time, I was on 10 medications 3 times a day. I went through it. And now I am good. I'm good and I'm happy. I still struggle every day to get from day to day, but I have friends who support me that I can talk to. and that know about my condition, and they help me. So, what I want you to do is, if you know anybody in your family that is bipolar, that have been diagnosed with a mental illness, take a look at them, and I want you to show any compassion and understanding that you have towards them, because what I have witnessed with myself is that people don't understand bipolar, and when you tell them that you're bipolar, the rejection and the disrespect and the way that people react to you is so hurtful. And you don't want to tell anybody. You don't want anybody to know. You just don't. And that's why I am speaking up for anybody who is hurting, anybody who needs to tell somebody that they have a mental illness and they need to talk about it to somebody, whoever they can confide in, and just tell them that I need to talk to somebody. I just need to tell you how I feel. I need to tell you that I can't do this. I need help. And right now, all the psychiatrists and therapists are booked because of COVID, because everybody had to suddenly spend time with each other. And that was a problem. So I think I'm going to go for right now. And I think I am going to have a little sip of my tea because I'm thirsty. And tell you all that I love you so much, all of my friends. I love you. You have no idea how much your support has meant to me. And my sister Wanda, how much I love you and thank you for taking care of me. I love you. And I will be back with another comment about how it feels to be me. And how I feel today is good and amazing. I pray a lot too, and I meditate. So, and I talk to God, and I ask God to lead me, guide me, protect me, show me, reveal things to me. And so I'm like that kind of person. So, in my deepest heart, my prayer for you is to be well and to be happy and to be grateful and to be thankful, and all is well. And it is so. And I'll see you next time. Okay? Love and light.